your assessment about tough matchup with Artesia?
Yeah, that's a veteran team. They've been in this position before. Very well coached. A lot of real good athletes. Came out with a game plan, and we didn't execute it very well. To be honest, a lot of intimidation was a big factor. Um, but overall, I think our kids had a great season. We have a great group of kids, great group of coaches. We always have the good support of our community behind us. But not the. We wanted to come in and battle, and unfortunately, a veteran team kind of put it on us tonight.
Now, number 14, he was shooting lights out from the 3-point line.
Right.
How can you defend that?
Well, you can't lose sight of ball and man, and our kids did that often tonight. It's not something we teach. It's for our group of kids, being in the pit, something they haven't experienced. Maybe the moment got a little bit big for them and got a little excited to where kind of lackluster on defense. And like you say, he got a lot of open looks, and even when he didn't, he hit some contested shots. He's a good player, and they all are. That's, like I said, a veteran group, and they got a good group of athletes who've been in this position before.
Just talk a little about their lane too. That just that size advantage, like you said, was intimidating for your kids. But
right.
When you're actually out there, you can see the difference.
Yeah, and we are outsized, and that's going to be our matchup, and that has been for us. We're always going to be outsized, and our kids at the start were battling, trying to be physical, and we got some loose ball opportunities, and when we didn't, or when they got their length got to us, they finished at the basket. And I thought our kids tried, gave some good effort at times. Could have been a little bit better, but like I said, with this group of kids, they fought hard to get to this point.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought didn't you play them last year in the first round of the playoffs down there?
Down there, yes, sir.
So what's the difference between the two? Because it's the same team.
Right, it's the exact same team.
Yeah.
They put some more work in. They look in shape. They look strong. And like you say, it's the same team. They're a veteran group that has played together, had a bunch of time together in the summer. I know during the summer they went to some big team camps, and it's a veteran group with veteran coaches. Coaches been here before, and they put work in. You can tell in their body, the way they look, the way they get up and down the floor, the way they react to things. And we had a game. We talked about that being the case, and I think that their experience showed tonight.
So you weren't intimidated because you played with them last year. It was a pretty close game for the first 2 or 3 quarters down there.
Yeah, at halftime I think we were down 6 points.
Yes, sir.
And we were trying to do that. We came in with a similar game plan. We didn't get out in transition like we wanted to, and I think a little bit of they wore us down when we were trying to wear them down.
Sure.
And so when we weren't able to get out in transition and get them in a run type of game like we were last year, the favor goes to them.
And Coach, talk about their athleticism. They were beating loose balls and rebounds, offense and defensively. I know it's their length, but they're pretty athletic as well.
They are. They're real quick reacting. They get around and find the ball real quick. Every time we're trying to up the ball the floor, they were getting tips. And that's the competition that we want to play, and that's the level we want to be at. And it's something that we need to work on. Our kids need to go play other sports. Our kids need to be in track and play football and start doing the things that their kids do. Charlie Campbell, he's all-state football player, all-state baseball player.
Yes, sir.
So that's where we want to be. Our kids in our community need to strive to be able to want to compete against kids like that.
Coach, I got 2 questions. Number one, you're down 40 points at halftime. What'd you say to your team, and then what did you just say to your team after the game, especially the seniors today?
I was telling them this was something that we had talked about. It shouldn't have been so surprising. We talked about that they were going to expose us when we made little mistakes, especially if it showed with our body language. A veteran team like that's ready to take advantage of that. And that's what we talked about at halftime. We tried to talk to them about being more aggressive, getting better ball pressure, and trying to force some turnovers. And like you say, their athleticism, being able to get some quick in and outs and get by us to create for them, that would win against us. And this group of seniors, they put a lot of work in. And it's a great group of seniors. Jason, Josh, Kelton, and Dwight, they had a good summer with us, this entire group. And for what they did for our program, getting us back to the pit for the first time in a few years, you know, it's a building block. We would have liked to have battled a little bit better.
Coach, the last one. Do you think that your schedule prepared you for a team like this?
No, I'll be honest, no, sir. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to get more of the bigger competition, the metro area, down south, the ranked 4A, 5A schools. If we can start to do that, like I said, we saw that in the summer, but with our schedule during the season, if we could get a little bit more of that, I think when we get back to this point in the future, we'll be a little bit better prepared.